is a little intimidating to stand up here. What I mean is, this is what I've always dreamed of. I'm Mary Kate Pilcher Hayek. I'm the president-elect of the Iowa City Downtown District Board. I'm here instead of the president, Michelle Galvin. She didn't want to come, so, or I guess she's abroad. First, thank you to Tracy Barkalow and Joni for letting us do this here. It's gorgeous. Thomas, thanks for making it so beautiful. This was intended to show us what a wonderful space, an alley space can be, and I think that it exceeded all of our expectations. So again, thank you, and great idea. Next, thank you to the city partners for being here. We've got members of the City Council, John Thomas and Mayor Throgmorton. Can't see him right now. There he is. There he is. Okay, thank you for being here. We got staff here, which is important because obviously the ICDD works a lot with staff, and we appreciate that relationship very much. Jeff Fruin's here, our city manager, so thank you for being here. All right, let's see. Board members are here from the past and present. If you could just raise your hands, board members. All right, see how many of us there are? Let's see. Next, I want to just talk about the Iowa City Downtown District team. You know, when I was in my 30s, I started to think about how, as a lawyer, you think all the older lawyers just must know what they're doing because they're older than you and they have more experience, and you just kind of assume that. And then you turn like 35 and you're like, no, they don't. Well, what you realize is that there are people that can just stretch the edges of their thought and think, well, this is normal, but what else could we do? That's what this team does. It's amazing to me. We have Nancy, who steers the ship, obviously, and we're so grateful for her leadership. And then her team. And it's Betsy Potter, who's with her little bubby somewhere. Where'd she go? Oh, you're here now. Betsy. All right. We've got Thomas. I already mentioned him. Thomas Agron is here. Christopher Hunter's also not here. Don't care. Okay, he's also on a trip, I guess. Let's see, Joe Riley is the new downtown mayor. Haven't met you yet. Thank you for good things. Right ahead. Yeah, Marcus Brown's back there. That's not your cue yet, though, Marcus. We've got an agreement. We've got an agreement, so hold on. All right, so yeah, I think that's your whole team, six people. And again, we're so grateful as a board. This team is, I'm going to use the word, it's inspirational, but seriously, the way you push us to think creatively and to try new things, that's what makes Iowa City special. When I came down here as a kid, I'm from Cedar Rapids, the big city of people. We came down here to go to the Hall Mall. Isn't that what it was called? The Hall Mall? And I remember coming down and I thought that's what it is. Like when you get cool and you get to be an adult, you know, you wear tie-dye and you get a tattoo, which is more or less true. So anyway, we're just here to talk to you about what ICDD has accomplished and what they're going to accomplish. Before I do that, Marcus is going to hand out our annual report for your careful review. That's you. We're doing it. On the back of that report is the list of supporters, which is obviously a group that the district, the ICDD cannot survive without. So thank you very much to all the supporters and members of this group. And so then Betsy Potter is going to get up here and talk to us about what they've done and what they're going to do. So thank you, Betsy.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I'm not going to talk about all of it, but I will talk about our events and our marketing and some programs that we've done over the last year, just to give you like a short snapshot of the things that we've been working really hard on over the last year. And if you haven't seen them, now's the time to maybe look back. But coming off of the heels of the downtown block party last Saturday, it was a huge success for us. It was terrific. Thank you for everyone who was able to join us. If you weren't able to join us, there's lots of phenomenal pictures online. But obviously, a lot of our events take a lot of time. And I always say our events are marketing. And so that's really one of our larger marketing initiatives that we do over the course of a year. And we do 13 events total. And with those events, we try to hit every market and every segment, every service that we provide in downtown, really to market to different demographics. All of the opportunities of downtown, stretch people a little bit, come enjoy downtown in a different way that you haven't in a long time. So if you've never roller skated down the street, last Saturday was the opportunity. If you haven't, visited a business, the shop crawls are that opportunity for you. So the events are a big portion of what Christopher and a lot of our staff do, but we did 13 over the last year, which is kind of a lot, more than one a month. And then with that, we were also able to donate over $46,000 to local clubs, charities, and nonprofits through our volunteer program that we have, and that's really what supports a lot of our events. So that's our kind of a really fast snapshot of our events over the last year. Also, we do a lot of marketing, a lot of traditional marketing and non-traditional marketing. We've had some really great campaigns over the last year. Our Shopping Genius campaign has been terrific. If you haven't seen it, it's a social media campaign that focuses on the history and the people in our shops and businesses. And then we also did a really fun campaign this last March with the Women's Month campaign. And so that was also a big success for us on social media, and also it allowed us to kind of recognize other people that are part of downtown that may not always be at our forefront. So those are kind of our marketing snapshots and our highlights for the last year. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about Cosign before I turn it over. Cosign is a program that first started in 2017. And it brought, I think, close to 15 new projecting pedestrian-oriented signs to downtown. And this year we were able to bring back the program thanks to Midwest One and the City of Iowa City for partnering with us. But we kind of tweaked it a little because we know that there are other storefront improvements out there that needed to be invested in. And maybe if we were able to give a little bit of investment, we could kind of be a catalyst for those storefront improvements. And so there are 8 new projecting signs that will come out this summer, and they are being worked on right now, and they'll be phenomenal and beautiful. And then there's also 8 other projects that are being worked on for storefront improvements. And one of them is complete, 10,000 Villages. They have a new door plate right outside of their door. There's other, like someone's getting a brand new door to help with their storefront. Another business on the Ped Mall will be repainting the entire front of their store. So those investments were all made possible with the Cosign Plus project, and we're really excited about the success of those too. So I'm going to turn it over to Thomas to talk about all the fun, beautiful work that he does.
Thank you, everybody. I spent the last 30 hours in this alley, and hopefully it serves as, I guess, a testament to the really simple power of paint to transform a space, which has been my primary occupation with the downtown district. Also lots of other public art projects we work on, but I think that the murals are sort of the most visible projects that have sort of changed the way downtown looks. So that's what I'm going to talk about briefly. My projects also, I think we talked about this at the last meeting, but all of our projects my projects happen over the bridge of the fiscal year, and so I'm going to talk about projects from last year and then also upcoming projects. So last year, our focus was really working on these 6 large mural projects, one of which is right here. Her name is Connie. She's the wife of the artist, actually. So, and I think if anybody looks at like the geotags for Iowa City, which maybe I'm the only person that does that, but it's amazing. I mean, the murals are the backdrop to everybody's photos on the weekend, everybody's photos when they visit Iowa City, like selfies and graduation photos, and there was a whole set of beautiful family photos where they were laying on the ground of this alley, which is maybe, a testament to how that can change, like the idea that I don't think a few years ago people would have laid down on that alley, or maybe not even today, I don't know, but anyway, more than just the social media relevance of murals in terms of like seeing a photo of Iowa City and knowing where it is based on that, I think that the murals really become a backdrop for our experience downtown and the urban fabric of our downtown. And I think that it makes downtown a more colorful and cheerful and joyful place. And I think that those are sentiments that have rippling ramifications for downtown. So I want to thank the credit union that really helped fund a lot of the murals last year, but there were many other people who gave funding and time and other facilitation and support for those projects. And we'll continue to do this summer, as well as the Green State Credit Union will do this summer as well for us. So there will be at least 3 and maybe more mural projects in the north side this summer, so look forward to those. And then we also helped advocate at the sort of municipal level to increase public art funding, and it was really exciting to see the city double their funding for public art this year, and I think that that will help public art really push further into the neighborhoods, which I think is something I'm really excited about. And they're working on strategic planning processes to make sure that that happens right now. The last thing, I guess, is just that I want to stress that like murals and public art, I think in a lot of other communities, they're very like trendy, and I think some communities like bring in artists from really far away, which can be great. It's been exciting for me in this first year to really focus on local artists and murals that feel like an authentic voice for our community. So I hope in the next year that they can really serve more of like a strategic tool for connecting downtown to other neighborhoods in Iowa City and for telling stories of Iowa City that maybe haven't been told yet or haven't been told often enough. And so I see that strategic element of them as kind of the next chapter down here. So that's what I'm excited about. So I have been painting this, and I don't know who I'm handing it off to next, but it's Nancy, Joe. So anyway, thank you, Joe.
Hello. Hey. I'm Joe Riley. I'm the new nighttime mayor for the downtown district, and I'm here to talk to you about vibrancy in the downtown district. We have a lot of it here, and it's a very small, compact, dense area, and we're so lucky to have that. Shops, restaurants, theater, music, art, even your bars and pubs, literature. We have a lot to be thankful for here, and it's all in such a short, close walking distance, and I think that's something really unique that we need to cherish here in Iowa City, and that's where I come in. So where this role has evolved in the past year, now that I'm full-time, I have a ton of time to be present in those establishments, those venues, meeting with people who frequent those venues, hanging out at those venues, and just striking up a conversation with a stranger. What do you think? Where have you been tonight? What did you like? What don't you like? And giving that feedback to the people, the business owners, the stakeholders, and also being that ear for those business owners, taking in their pain points, what's going well for them, what they would like to share with the community, that vibrancy. So really my role is to be that champion for the downtown district, and I'm doing that through a couple different channels. You probably have seen me on social media. That's nightmare_IC on Instagram and Twitter. Please follow. Also, you may have seen me on TV or radio or a lot of print interviews. Curating a monthly Spotify playlist. We just released the Spotify playlist for July, and that has all the people who are coming to downtown next month and a little song from each of them. So maybe if you saw a little flyer while you're walking downtown, you're like, that sounds like an interesting band name, but what are they like? I put it all there in one place for you, and you can check it out, and you can decide, do you want to come and check them out, or do you want to maybe check out somebody else in the playlist? Also, with my full-time position, I'm now coordinating with Think Iowa City and helping be that champion for vibrancy in terms of our conventions, our visitors, our sports teams that book with us. I'm the downtown showroom salesman. So when we have those events and those planners that want to do something in Iowa City, I'm here to show them what we have to offer. But it only goes so far with me. I can definitely talk to that planner, but when visitors know, when our family and friends know that we have vibrancy down here, that's when we win. I was just having a conversation last night at my nightcap with the Nightmare at Joe's Place. Open forum, welcoming strangers, and I sure enough got a stranger who came up and said, I've lived all over the place. I recently just moved from San Francisco. I went up to Rochester, Minnesota. I'm retired. I don't like Rochester, Minnesota. I want to be in Iowa City. All my friends tell me how great it is to be here. And when we have people who know that about us, we can win. But it only goes so far. So take a look around, all the unique opportunities that we have. This is my downtown. This is your downtown. This is our downtown. And vibrancy is nothing if we don't share it. I'd like to welcome up next our Executive Director, Nancy Bird of the Iowa City Downtown District. I only got so much slack here.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks, everybody, for coming tonight. It's so great to see so many colleagues and friends and family that has come. I will say it's amazing how fast time flies. I can remember back 7 years ago, that's how long the Iowa City Downtown District has been, thank you, Thomas, has been around 7 years, and we started off in a small project office above Molly's Cupcakes overlooking a really challenged alley, and on the other side an amazing yard, the front door of the University of Iowa. And it was Betsy and I at the time, and now we've grown this great team, 6. We take a lot of feedback from our wonderful board of directors who are really driving the boat here, and then we're doing everything that we can to make sure that we can follow those rules and those suggestions to make it great. The one thing I would say is with the growth of our team, we've had a lot of different annual meetings, and this is clearly a unique one. It was Betsy Potter's idea, like, hey, why don't we have it in the alley? We want to highlight the alleys, why don't we have it in the alley? And then I'm thinking, hey, maybe that's a great idea. Or maybe it's a horrible idea if it rains. But with the luck of Betsy Potter, it doesn't rain on her events. Now, I just had to say that, right? We had a great block party this weekend, and that planning was really all her. So thank you so much, Betsy, for everything. And this is the coolest thing ever. I just love it. So anyhow, one of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight, our annual report really expresses what we did last year, and then there's always the things that we're going to do. And on the back page of the report has a lot of things that we have plans to do. I wanted to highlight 3 elements of that. Number 1, alley activation. Thomas spoke to it a little bit, but the reality is this area, I've heard many people when they came in say, I didn't even know this place existed, or what was it? And it's a parking lot behind a business. That's what it was before. When last week we picked up 3 pickup loads of garbage that were here and around, and that basically didn't have a home. The business didn't do it, the residents didn't do it, the city didn't do it. There was just no one to pick it up. But once we picked up those 3 loads, it made a big difference. There was sand in the potholes, so you can't paint it like that. There was all kinds of things. There were tags everywhere, some of them inappropriate. And but just with that pickup truck, a power washer, many gallons of paint, some ambient lighting, which is beautiful, some hard work, a lot of creativity of the team, and sprinkle in a few good friends, and you have an amazing urban, cool spot with really a great party. So it didn't take that much investment to really change this space, and it's an indicator of what we can do next year. So what the board has decided to do, and I credit them for the recommendation, like, hey, let's just bite off an alley and let's just go for it. So this year, a request for proposals was released to our local design firms to really reimagine this alley back here between Studio 13 and US Bank, and let's see what we can do with a little investment and to reimagine the space. Can we make it more exciting possibly for renovation of the buildings? Is it cool to have a back door onto an alley? Well, we already know we have a business right out here with Allison. Is she here? She's around the corner, Heim, which is a pottery studio, beautiful pottery, one of the 32 new businesses that are now downtown. Last year we had 32 new businesses. And she loves the alley access. Do others? We know that others do because I've talked to them. We would love to be on the alley. We would love to have a donut shop off the alley. We would love to have an art studio off the alley. We would love to be that hidden gem off the alley. Well, we have to have some renovations internally, and we have to express that people will actually clean up some of the stuff to make it possible. So we're excited to really see what comes of the RFPs and look at what this alley back here over the course of the year, it's going to change. and what it'll look like next year? And can it help motivate, incentivize reimagination of all the alleys, which are important utility corridors? We have to remember that. The businesses need them to make sure that they're serviced. But can they also service to build business density? We know that our retail industry is changing, constantly evolving. People are getting more efficient. They need less space. So can we split some of these buildings in half where the front is off the street and the back is off the alley? It's not going to work for every business, but can we add a few more in that way? Because space down here is at a premium, as we know. So we're pretty excited about that. And I think that together we hope that maybe this will also prompt a city resurfacing project that's in the CIP, or it's not in the CIP, but it's in the 2014 streetscape plan, and get it in there and get some resurfacing done as well. So the second thing I wanted to talk about real quickly was also for next year, historic preservation. We're working with the Historic Preservation Commission to take a look at historic preservation for downtown. I know our city council is very interested in a local ordinance, a historic district for downtown Iowa City, which would be a rezone of the area. So one of the things that we are committed to do is to make sure that we are a part of that process and that we can help inform kind of the pinch points to that process. The University of Iowa, the City of Iowa City, the National Trust, and the Main Street Center are committed to a study for next year through the field problems course at the University of Iowa to explore what that means here. We know that our Main Street Center director, who sits in Chicago, knows that past processes have really left out the building owner, have left out the developer. They don't exactly know how to fit them in a way that makes sense and that can respond to some of the challenges that they feel. So this is an opportunity to explore it and to study it, and so we're grateful for that opportunity. And then lastly, we're going to be working on our strategic plan update. And I know that's kind of wonky and a lot of people aren't interested in that, but I did want to update everyone here that we did a community survey at the beginning of the year. And a lot of the feedback that we heard was that people like what the Iowa City Downtown District is doing. They feel the vibrancy, they feel like things are working here, and they want to be a part of it. So we've had a lot of public comments express, how can we get this in our neighborhood? How can we connect? How can we do those things? And so we're going to explore that. I don't know exactly what it means yet, but Thomas alluded to a really easy one that might be the first one in line is, can we connect through public art? Can we tell stories community-wide? Can we do it differently? And are there other things like that that we can do to make people all over the city feel more included downtown? Because you're certainly welcome here, but sometimes you have to go out and say welcome to make sure that people want to be here. So we're doing that in several different ways. We're looking at work plans for that, but then really one of the bigger ones is that we have heard a lot from property owners south of Burlington that also want to be a part of the SMID. So that's a big process, and so one of the things that we're committed to do this year is to meet with those property owners and tell the story of the Iowa City Downtown District. How did the property owners here, the businesses here, get together to say, hey, this is something that we need, we want revitalization, we want to make sure that it's funded, and can we move this forward? And the more that we express how we did it, maybe we can inspire others to commit and champion their own neighborhoods with that are resourced. So we're committed to that, and we're really excited about it. And our next speaker tonight doesn't really need an introduction, but Tim Dwight is here. Tim Dwight owns property south of Burlington Street, and for those of you who don't know Tim, which very few probably don't, but he's known for a lot of things. One of them is his football career at the University of Iowa and with the Atlanta Falcons and San Diego Chargers and a few others that I'm missing. But locally here in Iowa City, he's beloved for a lot of things, but one of them is sustainability. He's really I don't know anybody who doubles down on sustainability like Tim. I mean, it's amazing. He's got cans in his back seat and anywhere he can find or pick up things and make things better and more sustainability, he's committed to doing it. So Tim's going to come talk a little bit about his project and what it means to be collaborative, because collaboration is the new competition. I mean, the more that we can work together, the stronger we'll be. So thank you all for coming tonight. If you're feeling hot, it's because it is hot. It's 94. So who knew that? So Tim, why don't you come on up and tell us a little bit, and then please stick around, have some drinks, and we'd love to chat more. So Tim Dwight.
There you are.
Thanks. Thank you, Nancy. Been fun getting to know this lady. She's a mover and shaker.
Tim Dwight is also a new father, so we should congratulate him.
Time, you know, that's all you got. Kid just sucked it all up. Jeez. Well, thanks for, yeah, this is kind of intimidating. I just had a football camp of like 8 to 14-year-olds, and this is definitely worse. Well, thanks, Nancy, for letting me speak. You know, I'm Iowa Cityan, been around this community for a long time, and, you know, back in 2002, I bought some properties at the south side. I couldn't afford much around this area. We didn't make a lot of money back then in the NFL, what people think. So I bought some property down there, and I've just kind of been waiting for, you know, this gradual shift towards South Burlington, or south of Burlington, all the way to South Gilbert, because, you know, traveling and being, you know, seeing different places in the world, having friends in Portland and Denver and Boston and being in New York, and you start to pay attention to, you know, just how neighborhoods work and things. And you start reading books on people that kind of have a good insight on that in the 60s, and, you know, you start wanting a vibrancy. So when I purchased this property, I always knew I wanted to develop something here, but it definitely changed quite a bit from, you know, trying to build maybe an apartment complex to a real livable building that local Iowa Cityans would want, you know, like what you see in Chicago, what you see in Portland, you know, sustainability, net zero living, battery storage, solar power, the EV part, you know, some units don't even have parking because people don't want cars. You know, and people are like, well, you know, you're not going to sell to everybody. Well, I don't want to sell to everybody. I want to sell to people who actually get it and understand this carbon burn that we're doing right now. People don't understand anything about electricity and the carbon and extraction, and it's incredible how much we burn every day. I mean, just in Iowa City, when you go 4:30 to 6 o'clock, we have somewhat of a rush hour. I mean, you take that 24 hours a day, twice all the way around. Every single hour, this earth is burning fossil fuels. So getting into that, you know, your building kind of changes. You know, you go from wood construction to, you know, precast concrete that will stand a long time, but then also you understand the carbon on that. So then you look at dowel, which is like a compressed wood, but your price goes up. So it's been very challenging to develop this building in a way where, one, it makes a lot of sense. 2, people have energy bills. 3, they live sustainable. They learn how to live. Like there's a building down here in downtown Iowa City that's 70,000 square feet. 70,000 square feet. It's all electric. Costs $1,500 a month to run. $1,500 for 70,000 square feet. That's amazing. I'm like, ooh, I got to figure it, because he built it tight. He built it smart, right? He didn't build some of the ways that we build. So trying to be an example of learning how to build something quality at the same time, you know, give it a lot of value with it, like location. Like, you know, we all have so much time. So when I started living in Boston and New York and San Francisco, I walked everywhere. Well, that's where I want to live, right? I want to live downtown. I want to build this building to live down there because I like the train. I think the train's eventually going to come here, and it's going to go to Chicago. Then it might go up to Cedar Rapids. We got to get the Crandick going. Like, people want to travel by train because we're online so much. We're communicating so much. We need to provide those opportunities. So I live right next to the train station. I mean, my building's right next to the train station, in between both the Crandick and the Moline line. And eventually that's going to come because there's going to be value how we're transforming our economy around clean energy, around high transportation, high-speed trains. Like, we're on the verge of this really push into renewables. I mean, people don't see solar power because it's up on rooftops, but it's starting to become at this trajectory right now, what we're seeing in the marketplace, and where costs are going to be in 2 years from now. And it's going to turn to our cell phone. You're going to have storage in there. So all this is like changing, you know, the way that we build. Like Germany right now, you build a building, got to be net zero. Can't be any carbon, net zero, and they can do it. So I've been looking at doing that. So, you know, a lot of this stuff does come with costs and trying to figure out structures, but collaboration of like the South Side. I mean, we've been kind of been quiet for a long time, and now we have the brewery down there. Now we have some apartment buildings that are going up, you know, and the collaboration's starting to be there. But yeah, so that's kind of my project. I've been just trying to, since 2007, I've been really working on it. I've been banging my head on what to build. You know, we go through a recession, you know, and then, you know, you got other density. There's all kinds of things you got to look at when, you know, there's a lot of apartment buildings have gone up. So do people want to live by apartments? I mean, I still would, because you can say, hey, kid, don't park on my property anymore, okay? Come on. Towed so many kids, and they just don't listen. They say, well, then I have to carry all my stuff 2 more flights of stairs. Yeah, You're a college kid. That's what you have to do. You know, it's amazing. But so yeah, it's been very challenging and down there, and it's finally starting to rumble down there, and that's where kind of our growth is going to go. So I think us property owners down there got to collaborate more because we're seeing what's going on down here. We have diversity down there. We have cool old buildings down there. Some of them are going to be torn down and redone. You know, some of that west side, is it west side? Gilbert Street runs north-south, right? So west side is kind of bigger development, but it's the east side that's going to be really challenging because there are a lot of small lots in there, and the next 20 years of seeing this growth. So I've been trying to develop something that makes sense for people and just kind of spur the way that we need to start building here in Iowa City. You know, everybody has an EV charging station and for their unit. Everybody has solar on top of there. I mean, it's things that we can do with code that can make this change. And people see the value in that. When people come to my property and want to see it, and it's concrete floors and tall ceilings, and they have no energy bill, and they can walk everywhere and use all the amenities of downtown. I mean, that's what I tell it's hard with the real estate agents in here in Iowa City because everybody sells all outside. And I go, okay, take our customers and walk them around downtown and see all the things you can get to. And it's pretty amazing. I've lived in a lot of places, and it's still amazing coming back to the city and seeing what everybody's doing here. And, you know, and the diversity's, you know, starting to come in some more, and we're starting to, you know, pull some more of that in. But, yeah, so that's all I got. Nancy, is that okay? So no. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. And everybody just help yourself to a drink. Thank you for coming. Stick around for conversation, and have a good evening.